Coming from a married couple who investigates all things supernatural, most people forget one side of investigating, the everyday human side. Before investigating, they had to learn everything that's involved with cases, all the while balancing their marriage, family life, friendships, and work life. Twisted Ascensions brings an inside look at how their marriage works on and off cases, spreading the knowledge they've learned over the years about trauma, drug abuse, dealing with spiritual gifts, protection work, and so much more. Dive into the world of a paranormal couple that doesn't shy away from hard questions, but rather offers raw and unfiltered answers. Listen to the good, bad, and ugly stories of various topics and hear from other investigators, past clients, and colleagues within the field. Now, your host of Twisted Ascensions, Caden and Allisa Mask.
Welcome to the Murder Folks, coming to you live from the hollows of Mississippi. I'm your host, Caden.
I'm Allisa, and tonight we'll be talking to you about all things paranormal and supernatural and being married and being human.
Yeah, and we did everything the hard way, so you didn't have to. Show is Twisted Ascensions because in order to ascend in whatever you're doing, there are always curveballs. And that's kind of the theme for tonight, is dealing with curveballs and doing things that are hard, that you don't want to do, but you kind of have to for self-help. Self-help.
I don't know. That came out real.
That came out all sorts of messed up. I'm going to share something with you guys that's been going on in our life that is it's emotional. It sucks. It's something that we had to do, though. Unfortunately, we're having to. This will be our last show on the network. We're going to go on a unforeseen hiatus due to my health. For about a month and a half now, 2 months, I have been a
pincushion
and a lab rat to multiple doctors and specialists. My health has just taken a turn. We did get some good news today, but again, it wasn't great news either because I'm still left with no answers. And unfortunately, we live in the United States where our healthcare system is just shitty, you know.
This one will not be going on YouTube.
This will not be going on YouTube because, I mean, it's shit. It's shit. I have racked up an ungodly amount of medical debt in just 2 months alone. So we're having to pull the show in order for me to continue to take care of that, continue to do tests, continue to do blood work until we figure out what's going on.
Our entire schedules are kind of up in the air with your health right now because even the doctors that you are seeing at this moment aren't in our town, and it could become further away. Yeah. There's a lot of things that factor into it. So it's not, it's a lot.
It is.
I mean,
we're hoping that we're going to have answers this Friday or today. We got some. Still can't rule them out, but it's looking like I'm just going to be underneath some more testing. More invasive testing. Invasive, yes. Currently, I am hooked up like I'm a lab rat. So we're just going to make tonight fun. Hey, Dawn. And in doing so, what are some of your favorite things to do?
Like in the field?
Just in general. I mean, this is just a free-for-all.
My absolute favorite thing to do right now in my life is be home because I love to be home. I love being home. Home is my zone. Like, it is my happy place. I love to read. I like to be outside. I sound like a 5-year-old. I like to read and I like to be outside.
I like long walks on the beach. beach.
Yeah, I like to stroll on the beach, like off the offshores on the boat. I like doing that. But I like reading about topics that I don't know anything about. Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
Well, no, there's a whole list of things, but none of them really fit our show.
Nothing fits the show because our show is one of a kind.
You're right.
Really true. Have you heard of any? Okay, let's talk about this.
Okay.
Did you do any more research on the serial killers in Chicago?
No, I went down the rabbit hole of the thing I was talking about last night with birth certificates, and then I went down another one that was the whole I just went blank because it was all like connected to each other. Birth certificates and another rabbit hole that veers into like the Mandela effect, but it was more scientific than.
What about the Mandela?
They were talking about triggers in our brain. It was all about brain anatomy, like what I was going down. They weren't necessarily trying to say that effect wasn't real, but they were more leaning towards science with it. So it was very interesting for me to read. I thought it was cool. There was pictures of the brain in there, and it was took apart, and they were showing all kind of stuff, and it was really cool. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
but
I haven't read anything interesting lately.
You haven't read anything? I
have nothing. No, other than like it's interesting that there's another serial killer in like 5 different states right now. That
shows how vastly different our FYPs must be because
I still never
see anything about serial killers anymore.
Yeah, well, I see a lot of it, like the just the world and all the mass shootings and attacks and assaults and everything going on. Yeah. But as far as the paranormal goes, I have not read any new studies.
I will say this: I don't know about you, but and I'm strictly going off social media here. My social media. Paranormal presence.
Yeah.
That's like on my social media. It's very quiet right now. And I like to think that it has a lot to do with political views, but I could be completely wrong. It's just a very sensitive time for a lot of Americans. And they're just not talking about paranormal stuff. Like it's just not as prevalent right now. It's very quiet.
Really?
It's almost like they're taking a nap.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people going on investigations right now, but I really haven't.
You haven't seen anybody have any evidence of much.
It's such a strange time because the stuff that I have seen, I've been able to debunk from here.
Yeah.
Or not necessarily debunk, but say that's questionable because this was going on in the background or on the sideline type of ordeal.
Yep.
And it's just weird. I don't know. Like the last some of these teams that I follow that put out some great evidence or get great evidence, they're really like right now
just quiet, right? Quiet. It's like everybody.
It's like it's eerie.
It's what it was to me. To me, it's what it was about 6 months prior to COVID. Do you remember that? It was like just eerily silent. The world was just, it was like
it's like we're being drawn back before the arrow gets lit.
Yeah. But that's what it felt like spiritually for me. I was very open about that then. It was very ominous before COVID actually hit. Like it was like everything was very just stagnant and nothing was really moving, nothing was coming, nothing was going. It was really confusing times spiritually for me. And I've been very open about that several times, but then COVID happened. And it was much like a monsoon of things. Like it was so much. It was absolutely wild. Spiritually. Yeah. It was just
and I'm sitting here thinking about it, and this year my guides have been stupid quiet.
It has been a very
quiet. It's just like I'm not even used to talking to them on a semi-regular basis because we all know the relationship I have with mine. Like they just pop in and out when they please. I haven't heard from them in a really long time. Nothing. It's been very quiet.
It's weird, right? Now I have you thinking about it.
Now you have me thinking about it because I'm like, that's weird.
Okay, so has anybody else experienced this, or is it like or maybe you didn't notice it till I said something, because I think Caden has experienced it and just didn't realize that's what it was. Because it kind of feels like a dry spell, but really it's not just a dry spell for one individual. Like inside the whole community, it's like everything's asleep.
Well, no, Not in the community, because in the community, from what I've seen, it's a bunch of drama right now.
Maybe that's why, though. Like, maybe
like
they're bored.
It's a little bit more. There's always
like we're
drama.
Talking about kids at school, and that is so sad to me.
There's a little bit more than what's been going on the past couple of months right now.
With the paradrama stuff?
Paradrama.
I see, I don't ever read
But
it.
a lot of, yes, you did. Some of it is like these companies getting pulled.
You're talking about the lawsuit I read, right? Is that what you're talking about? You said yes, you did, that I read it.
I don't know.
That would be the only one that I know.
It's not a lawsuit, I don't think, yet.
It's on its way to being.
About these teams that worked for a location, and that location is supposed to, they have a contract to where they're supposed to pay these.
Oh, yeah. And they're like, this team's no longer with us, but we're still doing tours or something like that.
I've seen it both ways, of a location firing the team or company, and the team or company firing the owners of the location. I've seen it both ways, and that's going on a lot. Well, I mean, we ourselves are having a little bit of setback with.
By the way, happy retrograde, everybody!
Happy retrograde.
If you're a Taurus, I'm so sorry for this. It's going to be a rough one.
Mention it, they will become the Chatty Cathys. Maybe.
I feel like it's much bigger than the paranormal field. Like you're going, and I'm cool with that. I don't disagree with what you're saying. I'm saying
it's bigger in the world, but I just was using
that as a reference.
Of the drama. Yeah. Everybody's kind of, it's like waiting to see what the hell's gonna happen. And I don't even know what's gonna happen.
Well, man, if any of us did, we would be absolutely filthy rich. But
yeah, true.
Like it's real quiet these days. It's real quiet, and then. I don't know if anybody else can relate
to this. By the way, we're just talking, so if y'all have questions...
Oh, facts. That's why I asked.
Yeah, if y'all have questions, or if y'all want to jump on here with us, do let us know.
Let us know.
Just hop on in.
So, I just completely went blank. Again.
I'm sorry.
Again, because you interrupted me. I wonder, like, if for some people... That's what I was just going to say. Okay. So, when you go outside the day before a really bad storm, or the day of one, like when it's not coming till night, and it's this weird, eerie feeling outside, and the sky is like yellow and orange and red. Mm-hmm. We've had times together where the sky was a funky color, and it's just weird.
Yeah,
nothing. It doesn't feel natural
from the upside down.
Yeah, it doesn't feel natural. Your body is like, what the hell is happening? Because it looks weird, right? Mm-hmm. So. That's how this energy feels to me. It's weird. It's eerie. It's very ominous, and it's stagnant as hell. Just still. Yeah. Just nothing's coming. Nothing's going. And it takes me back to pre-COVID. But pre-COVID, we all kind of had an idea of collectively of what was coming for us. The monsoon, if you will, that was coming for us as humans. We kind of had an idea of it. We watched it travel on the news, but this time it's like it's so much bigger than that, or has the capability to be bigger than that. For me, I'm just speaking for me.
Yeah,
the way that it feels, it's different, but there's no real inkling of exactly what is about to happen at all.
No, and I mean, everybody can, like you said, the world in itself is kind of, the chips have been thrown up. We don't know where they're going to land. I mean, we're still waiting on the cards to land. We got political stuff, financial stuff, paranormal stuff, scientific stuff, cultural stuff.
Yep.
I mean, you name it, it's kind of up in the air.
It's a wild time to be alive.
More so than it normally is, because I'm one of those people where I'm like, it's always happened. It's just more public because we have the technology. But the stuff that's going on right now politically is, no, that's new. That's new.
My thing is, it's like, once again, I'm going to use this word, as a collective.
Hey, Salon.
No matter what side politically you fall on, or even if you even fall in any of the categories, because I don't give a shit. Doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
But as a collective, you cannot deny that something ain't right.
Something's not right.
Something is not setting well as a whole. Something is unbalanced.
Something big is coming. And it almost, I don't know if it has anything to do with, go scientifically, I don't know if it has anything to do with CERN. because they are.
That's been a little over a year now, right? Since they.
It's been a little since they. The second time they turned it half mast, then they turned it full.
Right.
And I think they're due to do it again if they have not already. I have not kept up with it too well because I don't understand the verbiage with it most of the time.
It would be really cool if we knew somebody that did. That would be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't know if it has
really random. I couldn't remember the other rabbit hole. I went down a Stargate rabbit hole.
I thought you already been down Stargate.
I have, but I keep finding all kinds of. That's why I said your page and my page must be different because I find weird stuff about it where people are trying to prove it, and I still read that stuff because it's interesting to me. If they're trying to prove it wasn't real, I want to see what your theory is. Wait,
which one was Stargate?
The one with the U.S. government and rebreeding people and making mini. It's kind of like 11 in Stranger Things.
Okay,
like they were wanting to be able to.
It's not MK Ultra and it's not Starseed.
Right, Stargate. Is that not what it's called?
You got Starseed and Stargate.
It's Stargate.
Stargate.
Project Stargate.
Basically super soldiers.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm.
But this was an article written by someone who was trying to say that it was preposterous for people to believe that was happening. I read those things because I want to know what they're basing that off of. Like, what information do you have? I'm not saying it is preposterous, but I want to read an opposing party's argument.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have to thank the Nazis. Back during that time, they were called werewolves because I mean, we all know everybody did drugs. Everybody thought that they were super soldiers, but they did drugs to stay awake longer.
Everybody
did drugs. They were forced to do drugs in the military so that they would stay awake and they would have more energy to do those marches.
Or your pain receptors aren't working when you're like as high as a giraffe's uterus.
So and we already know that they, and unfortunately in the concentration camps, they performed a lot of experiments to try to create a super soldier or a superhuman that there was no pain receptors. They could go without eating, without drinking, all of these things. And so, yeah, I've know it on that sense, but as far as scientific studies or lab rats, basically, yeah, of course, I'm sure they've done it. I'm sure as we speak, there is a scientist underground somewhere doing that. They probably.
Okay, so I have a question.
Okay,
if money was not an option, I want y'all to answer it too, because you could just say yes or no. If money was not an option, like it wasn't a thing, didn't matter. You had bukus of it, right? Okay. Would you choose to build the home of your dreams at this day and time? Or could you honestly say that you would miss all of that and build some sort of self-sufficient bunker? Like if it happened to you tomorrow, if you were handed whatever amount you needed, right? It wasn't an issue. You had the land, you could do whatever you wanted, and you had this much money, and it was more than enough to like make one that was eco-friendly and you could have your own stuff in. Which one would you do?
I'm a rational person. Why can't I have both?
So you would do both?
I would have the home of my dreams underground. I mean, I would go get the little technology to where, like, Hunger Games, where they were in. She went into her room and she could click a button and it looked like it was outside. I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good.
All right.
I mean, I can make it large enough if money's not an option. I could make a,
Everybody said bunker.
Bunker. Yeah.
Well, I'm saying that because I don't remember my 20s. I'm just being honest. I don't remember a time in my 20s where I was really concerned about things like that. Like, I mean, I watched the shows and I was like, yeah, that's crazy. That's wild. But I don't remember a time like in my 20s where I was just like, if I had the money, I would do it right now.
I always told myself, like, when I had my own house, that I would have a bunker.
Right.
And I've always wanted, I don't want like a, most people have like a school bus size bunker.
Mm-hmm.
No, I want a large bunker.
Yeah.
Like Resident Evil
so you don't
underground.
Want, what's his name off the movie Grease? You don't want his parents, or Grease 2. It's Grease 2 where they put the dude in the
in the bunker.
Yeah,
no, that's too small.
That's
too small.
Nuclear bunker.
Yeah, that's too small. That's too small.
I was like,
if I have to live underground for an X amount of time,
yeah,
I'm going to have enough space to have fun. Like if you said money's not an option, best believe my ass is going to have a pond underground where I can fish.
See, like I started,
like I could have a 4-wheeler and just ride in circles in my little track I do.
I landed on like doomsday prepper stuff a while back, and which this year I've done more gardening than I have in years prior. But do you remember when I showed you that irrigation system for plants? That's what led me to that, because these people were building bunkers, but they had like whole levels that were only for food source.
Yeah.
And I thought it was so awesome that they had figured out a way to irrigate plants to sustain them for forever. And it also gave them a certain amount of oxygen in that unit that they needed. And it was so awesome. Then I was like, but what happens if the water outside of your shelter is tainted? Like,
well, you would have to have a filtration system.
Yeah, but eventually, what if it breaks? What if it breaks? Like,
well, that's where you would have to take, like what NASA did with the astronauts, turns your waste into drinkable water. So it's just like a recycling ordeal.
Nonetheless, now I want one of those systems in here. And I found like one that I could just put in a room, and I'm probably going to end up buying it. I don't know. But it got me to, I was like, that's really cool. That is really cool. They have figured out how to do everything. And I thought it was awesome.
And I like some bunker for myself and family that I like. Keyword that I like. 100%. I'm with you on that. So here's a weird question then, since we're kind of on this.
Okay.
We know that, or we don't know, we believe. We believe that certain cataclysmic events affect the paranormal. Do you think that nuclear war would affect it?
In a way that was out of any, like...
Because we're still uncertain how spirits, we don't know if it's gamma rays, we don't know if it's electrical magnetic fields. We don't know if it's insert all the other stuff that people claim that they are able to measure ghosts with.
Okay.
We don't know.
So my answer is pretty simple and very explanatory inside of our belief system. So we've actually had clients that had residual hauntings. We've had clients who had manifestations of nothing but negative energy. They weren't quite to a poltergeist level, but they were well on their way to one. All those things were made by the energies of these people, correct? So if you believe that, I can't understand why you would not believe that some I can't even use the word, massive event that affected humanity in a very negatively, like it was horrible. I mean, a lot of people would die, right? It would be bad. So how could you not think that would affect it in some sort of massive collective way if you believe that people fighting for a year in a row every day can make a poltergeist in a house? Like, I'm just saying. I don't understand.
I mean, that's true.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
it's true.
Logically think about this. You believe, because I mean, I believe it. I know it because I've had clients that had it. So I know it's true. So there's no question in my mind what an event of that magnitude would actually do for the paranormal.
So you think something happened like that, the whole world would be overrun with tulpas?
Possibly. It'd be looking like Hogwarts around it. Like it'd be some nose diving to get you, and they're like trying to eat your soul.
Just be sitting down and like headless Nick. Or nearly headless Nick.
It might be. You don't know. I'm just saying.
Keep on going.
Could you imagine?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I mean, seriously though, like you don't ever know. If two humans can cause enough friction in a house to manifest something that has enough energy to flip on and off objects, to move things, to taunt them, two people with some, this is going to sound real bad and I'm probably going to hate for it, with some baseline traumatic stuff, right? We get nuked over here. Everybody done lost everybody they know. People that are left are deformed. The skin's burning off. It's a horrible mess. That's going to be rough. And the things that it could do energy-wise for what we call the paranormal field. Whoo.
I'm intrigued, not intrigued as in I want it to happen.
Yeah.
Or that I'm wishing that happened. I'm intrigued to the extent of what would happen with mediums like you and others get you about ruin the whole laptop.
I almost did. I'm so sorry.
What do you think would happen? Like with that much radiation interference.
If you really want me to be honest.
Like, do you honestly, in your opinion, do you think that your gifts and everybody else's gifts would just cease to exist because of it?
No, I'm not going to say they would cease to exist, but we probably wouldn't be mentally healthy enough to use them. So they would just...
See, I think it would just be gone.
I think it was... That's it.
Like that.
You're done.
Too much interference as far as when it comes to radiation in the air. Like, you can't... You're not, like you said, you're not healthy.
People would think you were crazy anyway. Like, who you going to talk to? The nurse at the bunker? Like, I mean, I'm just saying, who are you going to tell? Your uncle's over there. You're going to tell that to the nurse that's trying to, like, give you psych meds because you are nuked? Like, I'm just saying. Yeah. It would be a weird situation. It would be a very weird situation. I hope I'm gone before that happens. Like, I don't want to be here for that.
And if we ain't, we're all going to Salon's bunker.
Okay.
Is that cool with you? We're going to go to yours. I hope you like us enough to let us in.
Okay, this is where I'm going to stop it. Let me ask you this. Because we've had this conversation, but a lot of people probably do not have conversations like we do. So, The Purge. Everybody's watched the movie The Purge, right? You kind of, everybody kind of, even if you haven't watched it, you kind of get the gist.
I keep yawning. I'm sorry.
Of like what it's about, how it works, and all this. So, what do you think would happen in the good old US of A if that were put into place collectively? I'm not talking about just young cats that's got aggression. I mean the elderly people, the kids. Like, what do you think? It would play
out just like the movies.
You think so?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like to the T.
Like to the T.
Yeah.
Like because if you think about it, the last one that they did sounds about right. First couple of times they do it, everybody's gonna want to do it just a little bit, and then it's going to get worse, and then everybody's going to eventually lose somebody in their family, and they're going to be like, no, it's now affected me. I don't want nothing to do with it. And
much like anything else.
Yeah, and then they're going to slow down, so the government's not going to see those mass casualties anymore. So what are they going to do then? They're then going to hire civilians who are very poor, like, hey, I will give you $5,000 just to participate.
Oh wait,
ding,
you
ding,
mean
ding,
like
ding,
companies
ding, ding.
did with COVID vaccine?
Absolutely.
Ooh, I'm just saying, since we're on conspiracy theories, they did do that.
All prisons would be training or teaching grounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I was saying, like, it eventually, like, it would come to where they weren't seeing the casualties that they wanted to.
The numbers. They
wouldn't see the numbers. So then they would start like, you can get out of prison if you do this. You have to at least get this X amount of
kills.
I don't know if we can say that, but we're
well, we're already banned from using it because you talked about the government and stuff. So okay. And I said COVID doesn't know about COVID. But do you think that it would all just be strictly government, or is it another one of those things where you think a lot of the higher wealthy people
well, the thing is the government's ran by the high wealth.
Oh yes, but you know what I mean, like
you have the high wealth, and then you have their puppets, which is our government, and then the government puppeteers us.
Okay, so
crap rolls downhill for a reason.
Because I don't stand on any side politically, I don't feel bad asking this. When it comes to things like, if say that was to happen, right? That's what's going down, along with other things. For the people that live in the southern part of the United States,
like us or south of us,
like us,
okay,
like us, not Florida and all them, like down us, that line, that Bible Belt as they call it. Do you think that they would separate off from the upper part of the United States and just say, no, we're not going to protect? I have my own opinion.
Well, as of right now, there's already a couple of states that are trying to secede from the United States. Yeah. I mean, so yeah, it would come to that.
Out of all the things, I can honestly say this for me. Out of all the things I knew about the South growing up, because we live in the South, never, ever, ever would have ever thought that southern states would want to turn their back on their government. And I mean, I just never did.
Yeah.
Because for me, growing up in the South, it was all about our gut. Like, we trust them. They got us.
Yeah.
They got us. They're for us. That's how it was. And it is a complete 180 now with most of the Southern states. And that's wild to me. And I got to thinking.
I think it's because my personal opinion, look at the technology that we have now and what we are able to see and catch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what they call it, called in 4K.
Yeah.
Well, okay, the government's been called in 4K multiple times, telling lies and falsifying videos.
Yeah.
I mean, we can go on and on about conspiracies with that, but for now, it's our break time. So we do need to take a break real quick. We will be right back, guys. This is Twisted Ascension. I'm Caden.
I'm Allisa.
Hang tight. We'll be right back. Welcome to the back. Well.
The back street.
Welcome to the back street. Welcome back to the show. We're the backwoods back street. Jeez. I'm Caden. This is my wife, Allisa. If you're just tuning in, thank you for coming to watch the show. You can always go back and watch when we are finished tonight on WLTK-DB Talk Radio, on www.WLTK-DB.com. It's a tongue twister day. It truly, truly is.
It's okay.
If you missed the beginning of the show, this is mine and Alyssa's farewell. I know it seems crazy because we just debuted in November. However, my health has taken a very strange turn, and for the next couple of months, I'm going to be test subject to a lot of different things, and I will be out of pocket between that and it's tour season for our location. It's just a lot going on. The way that the world is right now, I know everybody's feeling it as far as like financial instability, like it's kind of happening. So we're having to take a step back to take care of ourselves and our home and get everything right. Get everything right.
I couldn't see.
He started drinking already for the weekend.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just water.
Just water.
Allisa, self-health is dieting now.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's that going?
We can't afford for both of us to be
Can't afford for both of us to be down. We can't afford for the both of us to be down. So she decided that she's going to get healthy. So she has been dieting, doing extremely well.
This time I went on it a lot different, but so far it's okay. I am not going to be one of those people that's like, yes, I love it. I feel so great. I love food. Yeah. And I miss food. But learning to build a different relationship with food is very difficult, but we're working on it.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
So what do y'all want to talk about? What do you guys want to know? What are some things in the world that is going on that you're just like, what are your opinions on this? Because
I'm trying to think of some things I've seen.
I mean, like I said, there's drama always in the field, and I try to stay out of it. The only stuff I've seen lately is finally some of these scam artists are being called out. I'm grateful for that. I'm happy for it. There are a lot of locations going down. There's a lot of locations popping up. It has been a very, very strange year thus far.
I think the location thing, and I'm probably weird for looking at it like this, but anytime real estate is up and down, I pay attention. Like that's when new locations are popping up. When real estate goes down and business owners have a little bit of free to get in there and they get a decent percentage rate and they know it's something they can make money on, they'll do it. They'll jump on it. When prices are higher, they're more reluctant because they don't know how quick they can get a following or how quick they can get people in there. So I do believe that with the locations up and down, I think that the real estate market plays a big role in that, because the 2 years that the market was really low, there were places popping up everywhere. Everybody was buying properties. They were buying homes, and they didn't want to tear them down. They wanted to see if anything was in it because they'd heard stories all over the United States. It was happening everywhere because the market crashed and it was super cheap. So now percentage rates are going up, and I mean, people are trying to sell their things because they don't want to be locked into what they're in. And
but I'm just talking about paranormal locations themselves. A lot of them are pulling out because they're not making the money that they want.
Once again, markets are crashing and going up. And
I will go ahead and say it. 90% of the locations that I know charge way too daggone much.
Oh no, for sure.
Way too much.
For sure.
I mean, I can understand, unfortunately, and I don't know why, because the South really has more paranormal related folklorism.
A lot of that's just had so many wars here.
But
it's nuts.
However, most of your larger, more popular locations are more up north. And people like us, okay, if you're a team, you're an individual, and there's a location at $600 for a weekend. That sounds great. That's a great deal. However, you have to factor in, like us, where it takes you anywhere between 8 to 15 hours to get there. That's a lot of gas. That's a lot of time. You're not just losing the 2 days investigation. You have to account for the full day travel there
and full day back.
And you can't.
It's ridiculous. It's like paying to go on vacation for your family. I mean, it's wild.
It is. Bigfoot being from a different realm.
Oh man, I wish Asher was here.
Yeah.
He could tell you a lot more about that than I could.
I don't know. I'm iffy on it. I believe both sides of the story. I have talked to some really great researchers out there that strictly deal with Bigfoot or Yetis or Sasquatches. I can see the possibility. Could 100% see the possibility
that he was from
a different realm. But I can also see it on the flip side where it's flesh and blood and it's just being hidden, because every day they're finding some sort of new animal that's out there. New fish, new frogs. I think they just found I think it was some kind of lizard in Indonesia that they just discovered. So I mean, they're always discovering something. Now everybody's like, "Well, that's a big ass thing to miss." Well,
right.
Yeah, but we also have a lot of cave systems that publicly you don't explore. You kind of can't, to an extent, because number one, you would have to have like a year's worth of food and water on you to get in, and all that's so heavy. It's you can't really do it by yourself. And even if you take an excursion in there, you're out of cell surface. If something happens, you're kind of screwed, because even with the satellite phone, you're not at the surface.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There is a lady that I listen to who, this is where I'm kind of in the middle point, where her and her team were following a Bigfoot sighting. They're walking in the woods, and as they were walking up to this clearing, they seen like a shimmer. It's very weird. Well, they decided that a handful of them were going to go and the other handful were going to stay, and they filmed the whole thing. I have yet to see the video. I think they're kind of keeping it out of the public's eye for reasons, and I agree to it. But 3 of her teammates walked in to this thing and disappeared. Thin air.
Mm-hmm.
And then a couple of minutes later, they walked back out. And they said that when they walked in there, it was morning time. It was very dusky when it happened. When they went into this portal, it was bright skies, and the trees were like just greenery, ginormous, different season, different time. And they
like a valley.
Yeah. And like they said, they walked in, just kind of looked around and turned around and walked right back out. To them, it was only a minute, but to the people on the other side, it was like quite a few minutes. So it was very weird. So maybe stuff like that's happened. You know, people think that Bigfoot is in a different realm.
I want to read that.
Oh, it's a whole show. It's a podcast. Yeah. Okay. And I follow her. She's actually one of my Facebook friends.
Okay.
I'll have to send it to you. Thoughts on Mothman disaster theory?
Okay, hang on. Just go ahead. Go ahead. Because what I was gonna say was a spinoff of what you're saying, but it's okay.
Well, you can say that because Salon, what do you mean by disaster theory? Because I'm familiar with Mothman on a I worked for and worked with the group of researchers that specifically deal with Mothman. They're boots on the ground involved with it. I worked with them. So I have an insider's look of what's going on. So I want to know what you're talking about with you talking about the disaster theory. Kind of elaborate on that. And while she's doing that, what were you going to say?
I have been seeing a lot of people that are not conspiracy theory people talking about glitches.
Yeah, glitches in the Matrix.
Yeah, like it's becoming like I see it at least 2 or 3 times a day, and then at least 2 to 3 times a week. These are the people I'm seeing saying this are not people that believe in those types of things, and they're freaked out because they know what they just experienced, and they can't logically make sense. So what else could it possibly? What else could it possibly be? Yeah. But I have seen a lot of that, and it makes me wonder if that is like a symptom of the feeling that I was talking about earlier. Like if it's just a onset symptom of it, or if it's, I don't know. It's so strange. Have you not seen it?
I've seen people, but I mean, I've known people like that since we've gotten into this field, where they were avid skeptics, and then something not just ghostly happened, but even cryptids or glitch in the Matrix, Mandela's, stuff like that happened, and then they're like, I cannot explain it.
No, what I'm saying is just the glitch. Like right now, the massive amount of it that I'm seeing.
We're talking like the glitches in reference to like Mandela effects, like what
no. Some of them are just like one lady had regular holes in her ears, this was like on a video.
Yeah.
And she was taking her earrings out at night to get done, and she just pulled, and her whole thing, she was pretty zoned out in the video. Not like she was high, but she was just doing her thing, right? So she pulls it out, and the back to the earring still on the earring, and you watch it move.
Yeah.
But it went right through that tiny itty bitty hole, and you look at it and you think, well, what the hell, bro? But there's nothing that makes sense.
Like it wasn't that it was gauged and it came through.
No, it was just a normal sized ear piercing hole, and it was a full back to an earring that just slid through. And that's weird. 2 weeks later, this lady was really having a very hard time. She was also a very diehard Christian. Things like that and it bothered her that much because she knew that something was not right about it. Like it really bothered her that much. And then there was another lady who had stuff on like her bank statement stuff where she had some things done, but they were not done, and this was not a fraud situation. That's not where I'm going with this. And there was actual proof that she had it done, but there was no proof on her end that she had it done because she didn't go have it done. Like, it's been a lot of things that people are used to. I think people would be like, I'm really losing my mind. They would go to their doctor and they'd ask for medicine or something. But because I think, in my own opinion, collectively, there's this weird thing that's going on that nobody really understands. Well, I think that the glitching for people is happening as a symptom of whatever it is that's fixing to happen. Like, all of this energy that's being built up behind us. Our simulation is failing. Like, and it could be. Yeah. It really could be. Like, it sounds funny and it's funny games to talk about and it's really exciting to have conversations about it, but it really could be happening. Mm-hmm. And I think there are a lot of people who do believe in it, but they don't think they'll ever live to like see the fall or something like that. And I'm one of them people, like, I never really thought about what I would do if that, what's the protocol for that? What do we do then? Right. What happens? Like, that's out of my wheelhouse. I don't know what happens. So I think a lot of people are really like toothpick and eye open, and things are weird for a lot of people right now.
And maybe it's just like with COVID, with the rise in paranormal activity. Maybe people are just kind of slowing down and paying attention.
Some of that could be.
That's my theory.
The financial crisis that our country is in, because people don't have the money to keep themselves as busy as they did. Yeah. See, with COVID, they couldn't. They had to stay at home. Yeah. It wasn't really a money thing. They couldn't. Yeah. They had to be at home. So now it's more of a money thing, and people are being forced to put their finances in other places. Mm-hmm. And they're not getting to do the things that keep them occupied. So you could be right. You could be.
Him being the bringer or the warning for incoming disasters, or he is both. Okay. Oh. I have to be careful how I word this when I say it. My experience working with the researchers that dealt with Mothman. They were under the impression that Mothman that was seen in Point Pleasant, and we did talk to many of the airport security and airport staff and people in that area that had seen this.
I'll be right back.
Go ahead. There's two different names that Mothman was given. So you have the winged things and the unseen. The winged ones are what most people depict Mothman as. They have the wings, the red eyes. They're more insect-like than anything else. The unseen ones were much different, still had wings, just different types. And from what I read with their research and their findings and talking with them, I can say 100% that no, he is not the bringer or the warning for incoming disasters. If you want to believe their research, then it is just an anomaly, much like a Thunderbird or a Bigfoot or a extraterrestrial being. It's just something that's there, that is being seen, but it's not the bringer of anything. Now that is their beliefs. My belief, personally, and it's only because, again, personal accounts and experiences working with them. If you say something is the bringer of a disaster, you can make it fit anything. That is my dog, and I apologize. Come on. Come on. Come on.
It's stormy here.
Yeah. You can make that fit anything. When all this was happening, when I was involved with it, there wasn't anything majorly happening in the world. But if you wanted to say, well, there was a mass shooting in that area, or there was a serial killer in that area, or there was a something else in that area. You can always make it fit in there. But no, personally, from what I know with my own research and what I've experienced and what I have seen, no, I don't believe that for 1 second. And I'm not saying I'm right and everybody else is wrong. I'm just saying my opinion from the data I've collected dealing with the researchers and seeing and listening to the first hand experiences from these people. That was weird.
Very weird.
From these people, no, it's Mothman, whatever you want to believe, Mothman, the unseen ones, the winged ones, they're just an anomaly that's there. It's just something that's not of this world that you will see or not see. My opinion, not saying I'm right. For anybody that is watching or listening later, that's my personal opinion. And it's, like I said, it's just because I dealt with the team. I dealt with the information that they had, and I'm not even sold that it's a legitimate thing as it's played out to be. And that's where I'm just going to leave it at. Something's happening, but I believe personally that it's being exploited for monetary gain or fame, because that kind of seemed to be the motivator
in that setting.
That
was so cryptic.
I have to be careful.
I know.
I have to be careful.
I'm sorry, but it was pretty cryptic.
And I do have receipts and I do have credentials proving that I was
recipients.
I got recipients of it. I'm not just talking out my rear end.
Oh, just that makes a lot of sense. Thank you for your opinion on the subject.
Thank you for asking. Ask some more. I like answering questions. Tonight is really just, it's a free-for-all.
It really
is. Even if Mr. Todd wants to come up and just ask questions or talk, that's the kind of show that we're having tonight. I'm gonna let her in because she's gonna keep doing that. I am still
super bummed that we didn't, which we'll be back, but when we were gonna have the guest on about religions and all of that. I was really, really excited about it.
Yeah, I was bummed. Real excited. Come here. If the whole world wants to see you, come here. Look right there.
She's a ham. She's higher up. It's storming here. Yeah. And she does not like storms, and it's been storming all day.
Yep, this is
Indigo.
This is Indy Jade. She has a ham.
Sure is.
She doesn't like thunder.
But that's why she's scratching to get into the office.
Yeah. So we are, like we said, we are having to pull the show from the network just for a little bit, not forever, but just for a while. We're going to try to continue on our Southern Ascension page, though. That way we can kind of keep momentum. It won't be anything that's regularly scheduled. It'll be just as we can type of ordeal. Probably be more or less like our let's shoot the shit type of things that we used to do.
I think we get better when we do those.
We do, but we are very
vulgar
and bold.
We are bold. But
we are bold.
We come with receipts.
We do.
I will say that, and this is really probably going to sound kind of cocky. At the risk of that, I'm going to say it anyway. So, the one thing I can say about you and I both is if we get on, if we take the time to go to our page, hit post, go live, set it up, we're not going to sit on there and say a whole bunch of bologna.
No.
And if in the rare occasion either of us say anything about anybody, we got something to back it up with. I'm not gonna.
I get offended, downright offended, when people criticize people who have done their time in this field.
Ooh. Are you tired of being called the babies?
Have we been called the babies again?
People still call us the babies. Like
we're not. But no, I'm talking about like take Mr. George. Take Nicole, take Todd, take anybody else that's been doing this for years and years and years and years and years and years and years. And they are still, you still have these youngsters coming in and they hear them talk about their experiences, or they hear these, what I considered veterans of the field. By no means are we veterans of the field. But we have done our time.
We have done stuff.
And we get called, or they get called being egotistical because they're stating their truth in a respectful way. Now, if they're just being downright dicks about it, I can understand it. But I get mad whenever we're talking like we talk right now, saying, hey, when we're naming out our credentials, somebody asks, what are some of the things you've done? What do you do? And we start listening. And other people watch that and they go back and say, and I'm not saying it's just done to us, but even these other people that I've seen. If I have to talk about myself, or if you have to talk about yourself and give your credentials, you're not the real deal. Or if you're constantly talking about the books you wrote or the podcast you've been on, or the places you went, then you're just being egotistical. I'm like, no, do you understand how much money these people put in? Not just us. Todd's put in some hellacious amount of money. Nicole has put in a hellacious amount of money. Yeah, but they've also
put in a lot of freaking man hours.
Well, dude. Look at let's take Nicole. And I hope you're watching, Nicole, because love you to death. I remember Nicole when she just started out 3 years ago, 4 years ago. And I meant like publicly really getting out there when I
putting herself out there.
When I found her. She was doing the show here. And then all of a sudden, it was like a little bit here. And then all of a sudden, boom!
She was everywhere.
She was everywhere. Yeah. Everywhere. She was with this network. She was with 3 other networks. She started putting out her books. And then the Queen Mary doing work with it. And it just kept going on and on and on. Right. And it makes me mad when everybody's like, well, if all you do is talk about yourself, like you just are snooping. Heifer?
See, I guess we have different people on our pages. Because, like, I don't see a lot of that, but the ones I have seen, and I have commented on some of them, my response to all of them is the same approach that I would take to it. If someone was saying that to me about me or whatever, I don't understand why it's so different than people celebrating accomplishments in life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if somebody is celebrating the fact that they worked their asses off and bought themselves a new car, are you going to walk up to them and be like, well, you don't really need it because you have to talk about it?
Right.
No, you're not going to say that.
No.
So if someone has put in work and effort into this field, which they are passionate about, who in the hell are you to say that they don't get to celebrate when they see that they're going in the direction that they want to go in?
Yes.
And why is it that as a society, we automatically assume someone is egotistical and big-headed if they present facts about themselves that are positive?
Yes.
When you meet somebody, you're going to present all of your negative stuff to them. Like, here, this me. No, you're not. No. It's like, I don't understand why as a society, it's literally considered boasting, big-headed, egotistical. If someone places their good things about them out on the table, why is it so bad?
I don't understand it. And it's not me bashing people who on both sides of the fence. If you don't want to talk about yourself and you feel like talking about yourself is egotistical, cool. That is your personal opinion.
But don't
tear apart other people. And I'm just talking about us. I'm talking about in general.
Yeah.
Just because somebody is on a podcast or has their own podcast or on a TV show, which whatever, writes a book, makes their own show.
It would be absolutely fabulous in this field. I think a lot of it's because they feel like people are in competition with each other. And I'm not naive. I know some people are.
Yeah.
But if we all quit looking at shit like a competition in this field and we all started rolling in the same direction, it would be a lot better.
I agree. But then you have people on the other side of that fence that say that the competition needs to be more because we're stagnant. They're not understanding, though.
Stagnant happens when people are burnt out.
what they're talking about is nobody's pushing each other in the field. It's the same experiments all the time. I agree. There are a lot of stuff that has not changed and will not. But what most investigators or enthusiasts are failing to realize is you're never going to prove the existence of spirits or ghosts. You will never prove it to the mass.
Right.
Because science can't prove it.
It's much greater than science, but I know
you cannot. I mean, you yourself can prove it to yourself, and you can prove it to your little group, but you will not prove it to the public, and the public will never take you serious because science cannot prove it.
Well, I think science did us a favor in that, because what science does prove, that to me is one of the most mind-blowing, simplest things for our human brains to comprehend, yet some people still have such a hard time comprehending it, right? And it is in science, it's in books, it's very black and white in science that atoms and energy don't just disappear, right? So no matter what your faith is, and vast majority of Christian faiths believe that, when you die, your body stays here and your soul goes elsewhere. Our souls are made of energy. We are motorized, per se, by that. So, of course, it has to go somewhere. It doesn't stop. Science does prove in so many different ways that those things don't just stop. They don't just flop down and they're done. That's not how it works. So, whether you want to call it energy, spirit, ghost, I don't care what you want to call it, you can't deny that when this shell is no longer functioning, the things that made this shell tick still are. They don't just disappear.
Yeah.
So
it has to go somewhere.
Although you could never fully prove the existence of intelligent communication with spirits, I have to semi-disagree with the fact that science doesn't prove that there's life after death, because it does. It proves that energy that was our life force doesn't die.
Well, energy cannot be created nor destroyed, only transferred, meaning... To me, it's basically saying reincarnation is our best bet.
Right.
What happened?
I don't know.
Oh. It's fine. Reincarnation is our best bet.
To believe in?
To believe in. Like, it's scientifically, it's the easiest to believe in.
Because if you wanted to base it off science.
If you wanted to base it off science.
Okay.
Because you die tomorrow, somebody's having a kid that day. That could be you.
Right.
You just don't remember. But it also could be that... Do. Yeah, but I mean, it can also be... I die tomorrow. There's a puppy that's born, or a bird, or whatever the case may be.
Right. Anything that's living.
Yeah, anything that's living. And we also know that, trees and plants, all that is a living. The whole planet, everything on the planet
is a living thing.
Is a living organism or a living thing.
Everything has a driving force.
Which
is absolutely wild if you really want to sit down and pick that apart. Like, it's a never-ending tunnel in Alice in Wonderland. Like, it is never ending. You could sit and pick it apart forever and you would still just be like,
be left with more questions than answers. But that also goes into multiple dimensions.
Yes.
I mean, we don't have to reincarnate on this dimension. On this plane.
Yeah.
We can go to another realm.
Yeah.
Take Fae folk. They have their own realm, just like we have our own realm, right? It's real. I know I am the centennial rebirth and reincarnation of my 2 times great-grand. Holy shit, that's cool. Awesome. That is nice.
I follow a lady that has actually found her story's kind of like that, but like she will tell you she has one more journey after this one, and she actually has, now that we have things like genealogy and like the genealogy photographs, what I'm talking about, where they can like
replicate.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she was like her second great grandmother, then her aunt.
Okay.
Then that aunt's like third or fourth grandmother. And she has records. Like, it's absolutely bananas to me. Like, she has a whole file on it because she doesn't work. And that sounds so bad. She is disabled to a certain extent and is at home a lot. So when like the 21 thing came out and
the 21 and me,
23
and
when all that stuff first hit, she was like, "Oh my gosh, this is it!" Because everybody in her family thought she was absolutely crazy. Yeah. Even though she is identical to these women that she's speaking about, and she has pictures of them, and she is identical to them. Yeah. Like it's wild. Identical. And then she can tell you certain stories of the things that happened in those lives because there are certain aspects of them that she remembers. And that's also how she says that she knows that she only has one more journey left after this one.
See, and that's what intrigues me because you have told me that you think that this is your last journey. Yeah. Which pisses me off and upsets me. Don't like it when you say stuff like that.
I'll be here for a while.
Because I've got quite a few more trips, I feel, because I can't remember anything.
Yeah.
And from the people that I've tried to read me, I've gotten 3 past lives, and that's it. And even those, I can't validate,
Yeah.
So I have to take it with a grain of salt. I'm drawn to certain places and certain things, but to me that doesn't mean anything because I'm a very big fan of, at a young age, things imprinting on you or having those experiences at a young age that imprint on you forever. And when I was an infant, I could have just heard somebody playing Scottish and Irish music and was just like, I like that.
Yeah.
Or the same with indigenous culture. My grandfather.
Yeah.
That's all he loved and talked about. I probably just heard it and just that imprinted on me.
Imprinted and you ran with it.
Yeah.
But take a walk on the wild side and say that's not true.
Then I still have a lot of lives left because I'm nowhere near spiritually capable of what you and others who say that this is their last or next to last trip around.
Yeah, we've had a lot of talks about that though. Yeah. And it's difficult to talk to you about it because you are my husband. So some things come out very personal, even if I don't mean for them to. But there's a lot of things with your spirituality that you have so many blocks, and you are not. It's no secret to anybody that knows you. You are a laid back dude to a certain extent, but you are not a laid back dude to a certain extent.
I'm easy to talk to. I'm harder to understand.
You're very complex. I love you. I wouldn't take anything ever for you, but you are a complex dude.
A complex dude.
And so I think I've already told you this. A lot of your spirituality stuff is you struggle a lot with it because everything is so black and white with you.
Yeah.
You are almost someone who has fear of it not being black and white.
Well, and I don't know if that's Libra Capricorn in me.
It could be.
But I've always been that way. I've always had to know the truth, or at least my own truth about something.
You're someone who there are some things in this world that you can leave up to question, but there are more things that you can't, and you are also someone.
It is one of those where when it comes to things of this world, I have learned that I can't pick it up and examine it because I will be consumed with trying to find the answers. Because if money wasn't an issue, my ass would have multiple planes, multiple helicopters, multiple ships and boats, and I would be in Antarctica right now doing an expedition.
Yeah.
Antarctica, then I would come back and I would go to the Amazons, I would go to Indonesia, I would go to the cave systems. I would be doing it all just to see if Agartha is real, Inner Earth is real, cryptids real. I need valid proof. It is so much fun to believe in them, and I believe in the possibilities of them. But that's the thing is belief is absent facts, and it goes the same with religion. You can believe in anything. But you can only know things that you can see and touch. I know that spirits are real, but I believe that cryptids are real. Mythical creatures as far as Bigfoot, Dogman, bipedal canine, werewolves, vampires.
Yeah.
Not cryptid in the actual definition of it. It's fun, but I've only seen one thing One cryptid, and I know that one's real, but also if I look back at it, it could have been a fae folk.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's not like I can go back in time and be like, "What are you?
Mm-hmm.
Can I talk to you for? Excuse me, can I talk to you for a minute?" No.
Door.
Door. I can't. If everyone that passes and is immediately reborn, what's the story of spirit? Does that make sense? No, it does, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And there's multiple, our opinion, there's multiple reasonings for that. If you take reincarnation, okay, some people believe that it works like a court system. So you die, you go before a court, which would be the ascended masters, right? They say, hey, you can reincarnate or you can hang out to become a guide for XYZ. You do that. But then you can also, in the same breath, some people believe that if you were a naughty person in this world, that is your punishment, is to not ascend into the next chapter of your spirit life. But also, there are some people out there that believe that spirits are merely the thinning of the veil between our dimension and something else, somebody else's dimension, or someone else's dimension. There you go. Somebody's else dimension. There are a lot of people that believe that spirits are not actually human, that they think that they're all just angelical forces, whether it be good or bad angelical forces. Fae folk. Some people believe that it's not actually human spirits, that's actually fae folk.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's like 1,000,001 different explanations for it. That's why I said you can believe that encounters happen, experiences happen. I know that they do because I've had my own experiences. So has Allisa.
Mm-hmm.
And Alyssa's a medium, has talked to these deceased people. So we believe that they're humans, and they didn't quite get their, what is it called? Your life's mission?
Mm-hmm.
Completed.
Mm-hmm.
And they chose not to reincarnate or not to redo a life to learn that mission. So they're kind of
lingering
around.
There are some people that have ascended and are like still.
I'm going to lose it. Let me say it.
Okay.
Take this into consideration. Okay. A soul mission. Your soul mission was to learn to love yourself. Okay. Mm-hmm. So if a spirit's soul mission was they had to learn to love themselves, but then they ended up, let's say they were murdered. Okay. They were murdered.
Mm-hmm.
And they did not get to complete their mission.
Mm-hmm.
So they're lingering in the afterlife. But then you have a team with the medium comes in that's wanting to cross them over. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So this is my theory on crossing spirits over. It's not them going to their heaven or their paradise or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's actually, just from our experience, whoever's doing the crossing is helping them accomplish that mission, whether it be loving themselves or having accountability,
mm-hmm.
or forgiveness, whatever the case may be. It's coming to true terms of that. I think that's what crossing over is.
I do too. I think mediums come in, but I hate using that, but I'm going to say that. I think mediums come in to do it. And sometimes I don't think the mediums that are doing it always know exactly what they're supposed to be doing. They just have this thing where they know they're supposed to be doing something.
You feel that way all the time.
Yeah, and but I'm honest about it, and I'm not trying to talk smack, but a lot of people will just roll with it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, but I know I'm supposed to be doing something, and this kind of feels right, so this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
But I think that they're like a little tool that our ancestors can use to speed that up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like at the right time and at the right place. I don't believe in coincidences. I don't. So I think
Excuse me.
When that happens between a medium and a spirit, that was already in the works. Before you ever got there, that was in the works. They knew you was gonna be able to do it, and sometimes you don't even know what you're saying.
Yeah,
you don't like, it doesn't make sense to you because that's might not be what you're hearing or you're seeing or you're feeling.
Yeah.
So, but you're saying it, and and you're like, I don't know what I'm saying, but we're gonna go with it because it feels like that's what I'm supposed to be doing. So you do.
Yeah.
And then it works.
Yeah.
And
because I look back on some of the cases that we have worked of crossing the spirit over. And if you think about it, it's the verbiage that you've used or others have used. Once we found out who it was or what they were dealing with, it wasn't your fault. It's okay. You can forgive and let go, or you can own that it happened and it's out of your control now. It's been stuff like that. It's not, you're dead, go to your paradise. It's always been, what happened to you? Spirit answers, well, it wasn't your fault. It's okay. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's helping them come to terms with whatever their mission was supposed to be that day.
I think a lot of
that time, that life, my gosh.
My personal experiences with spirit have helped my conclusion with the way that I think about this, only because I have talked to some.
Is it a conclusion or is it ever changing?
Right now, I'd say it's a conclusion because I've had conversations where they were free to talk, and we've had conversations with them where they were just free to talk. We would just ask questions. So based on some of the things that we've been told in those types of sessions, like, I know it's hard for some people to believe that trauma in death could cause you to be in like a reoccurring loop of events.
Yeah.
But I really do believe that because
it's like PTSD.
Because we've talked to several spirits who are very adamant that they feel a lot of guilt for what they did, or they feel guilt for leaving their family in a way that they did. And it's just a reoccurring loop. And it's not really that they want to get past it. They are being human and they're feeling what they're doing. And they're like, I don't want to talk about it. This is what's happening. And it's like a loop. So then you send a medium in that kind of knows maybe what they're doing, hopefully a little. And if they start picking up on that and said spirit presents themselves to that medium and they're like, this is what's happening, and that one medium says the right 5 words to help them understand that it's okay, your family doesn't hate you, they're not mad at you, nobody's angry, this wasn't your fault, it's okay. And they take that and they believe it, bam, there you go. Like,
well, I've also read people that have said that, have often said, well, if they died and they felt horrible for leaving their wife, husband, and their kids, but they had been dead for, let's say, 100 years. Their wife, a husband, and kids have already been dead. Why are they still there if that's why they feel guilt? Well, because they seen, I think, it's because they seen their kids having kids and their kids having kids. And so they're constantly just like, it's that guilt just gets transferred from my husband, my wife is dead, but my kids are there. Well, my kids are dead, but my grandkids are there. My grandkids are dead, but my great-grandkids are there. And it's just...
No, I'm with you. See, I think it could be a mixture of that and the right person showing up for them at the right time.
I don't know if that made sense, Dawn, because we kind of went off on a tangent. But it's okay. It's
we did.
It's kind of what we do.
But I don't know. I think trauma can loop back around with spirit.
I think people downplay trauma so...
I'm going to go out on a limb and say I'm 50-50 with it, because I do think some people upcharge trauma.
Yeah, but I think as a whole, they completely forget that trauma, yes, love is powerful.
Did y'all hear that? Okay. Anyway.
I think that, I know love is a very powerful emotion, but people that have never experienced true trauma and true rage do not understand how much more powerful they can be. Love does trump them.
Yeah.
But it's easier to waller in the pity than it is to sit on the high horse.
Oh, for sure. Healing sucks. Can I just say that the people that talk about healing being beautiful just piss me off? Like
Todd marked it. It sounded like a knock. That's
did.
why I looked to see, but
it makes me so mad. So like healing over here, it's beautiful. It is beautiful when you make it to the end of it, but
so
it is
bad.
Ooh,
it's worth it.
Yeah,
it's worth it.
But there's not shit pretty about healing, bro.
If you ever take a course or take a class or you talk to somebody that is a life coach or a spiritual coach or whatever, and they're just like, healing is such a beautiful path. It is a phenomenal thing. No, it's not.
Have you ever had your teeth pulled out without medication? That's about what that shit feels like. It is rough.
It's needed.
It sucks. It's horrible. And I'm not even going to pretend like over here, we laugh at our trauma. We do. Like,
kind of have to.
But we're also at a different place and we can do that. However, I really shouldn't say it, but I'm going to say it.
Say it.
Like, it's predominantly women. They like share these peace, love, and happy quotes, on social media all the time about how beautiful a healing journey is and how amazing it is to be here and how awesome. I want to know what you're healing from. What kind of healing work are you doing? If it is that good and you feel that great in the middle of your messy mess, what are you doing?
I'm not going to deny. You have to do it, and the result of the healing is a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
But that
sitting in messy
this cliff, the messy cliff, and the healed, not healing, healed cliff, that healing bridge is on fire. It's missing some boards. There is sharks and alligators, and I'm pretty sure that Mothman swoops down every now and again, and there's a werewolf on either side of you, and dragons flying ahead, and there's probably a couple of people that are shooting flame arrows, and just for shits and giggles, there's going to be a zombie.
And somebody standing in front of you going, it's okay, you got this.
Yes.
You got this.
And that's what healing is like. Just like, shut up.
With your drill sergeant back on your back, like, go, go, go. And then somebody's right here.
It is not fun. Is it worth it? Yes. Is it necessary? Yes. But it's not fun. It's not rainbows and butterflies. But that's the greatest thing about healing. We're not healed. We're healing. We're healing, not healed. We are healed from some things, but not all things. Trust and believe. Like, there's still shit that we're trying to heal from. But it's just one of those things where when you have somebody, like, we're fortunate enough that we have each other to laugh about it, like coming in, eyes welted up from crying, like, ooh, I needed that. All right. That's just kind of how it is.
High five, team.
Yeah. Go team, go.
Yep.
Go team, go. And we just, I don't know. I get aggravated with a lot of things.
I do too, really I find that more myself this last year. And I will not deny some of it might just be I have a little bit of anger and resentment. We're working on that slowly. But a lot of things irk me now that have never irked me before in my life. Like, I used to just be literally, I didn't give a darn. Like, there was not a lot of things that just got under my skin. And I have found in the last year, there are a lot of things that just irk me. And I'm like, why do you do it? Like, I try to call myself out on my own shit sometimes. So I'm like, well, you're being ridiculous. Get it together. And then I realized that it was anxiety that was causing it. And I was giving myself anxiety from not dealing with things. And it was a whole domino effect. And here we are. And we're still not through it, but we're walking through it. We're going through it. We just ain't made it to the other end yet. You okay?
I'm still hooked up.
Yeah, you're still hooked up.
Okay.
Raise it back up. Sorry, guys.
I
just need to check the top leads. No, they're all on. You're good.
Okay, all 7?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I pulled one. That's
why that you pulled a lead?
Yeah.
Anyway. So.
And there are things that I thought I was healed from that
you've learned you weren't.
I'm not. And it's coming out as resentment, which is why I'm having a lot of resentment towards other people that don't even really deserve the resentment, but I still have it. Or my frustrations.
I mean, you're human. But
okay, are you okay? A constant question from a couple. I'm okay. Are you okay? A constant question. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
I don't know who you are, Facebook user, but yes.
I don't know who you are either.
Absolutely.
Over here, but yeah, we do that.
And it's annoying when she's like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" I'm like, "Alyssa, shut up. Just, I'm fine. Just let me be." Okay, I'm just checking on you. Then she come back later. Are you okay? I'm like, I'm not now. Are you okay? I'm great. I'm like, oh, okay. Sorry, Todd.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
it just said Facebook.
It just says Facebook user. I'm sorry.
It is a constant thing over here, but Caden.
I love solidarity.
Yes.
I love being alone. My wife is the only person that I can stand to be around 24/7 all day long and it not bother me one bit. She gets on my nerves. And I'm like, can you go to that side of the room for a little bit? But I want her there.
You've never said that to me.
What?
Could you go to that side? The side?
No, I've just told you to leave me alone.
Well, Allisa, it's like I'm kind of like a child. That sounds real bad, but I mean, he'll just turn around and be like, "Alyssa, I'm gonna need you to stop, please. just stop. Just stop."
But I've always been that type of person, and that's part of my healing process is learning to
be responsible for your triggers.
Yes, it's not other people's responsibility to abide by your triggers. It's your responsibility on how you act towards those triggers. Mm-hmm. And that has been my biggest thing, which ironically is funny because I've preached that to so many other people with different things, non-paranormal related. I'm like, it's not my responsibility to watch what I say around you.
Or walk on eggshells.
Around you. This is who I am. This is how I talk. And if you don't like it, then we just don't need to be friends and let's go about our ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Miss Sherry.
Hi, Miss Sherry.
But yeah.
But I mean, you had to call yourself out on that shit. I mean, I helped you.
I had to. I
got a mouth. But I mean,
yeah. I mean, it happens.
It does because you're human.
But I mean, I think that's what the turmoil in the paranormal community is right now. Is everybody is calling each other out, and they're forgetting to hold themselves accountable. Yeah, I'm 100% all day long. We have never go back on any show. Type in Southern Ascension, type in Twisted Ascensions, type in Caden and Allisa Mask.
Yeah.
Listen to every podcast we have ever done, every interview we have ever done, everything. Not once will you find where we say we are right and everybody's wrong. Mm-mm. Not once have we said that is not our fault or that we have not been accountable for crap that we've done. Because trust and believe, we have done some nasty stuff and we've owned every bit of it. Mm-hmm. We had to grow. Everybody's got to grow. Everybody's got to go through a growing time.
I have been so raw and vulnerable with people I've never met face to face on the internet. It's actually wild to me. As you said that, I was like sitting here thinking, and there were 3 or 4 times 3 years ago, that I was live on a page with thousands of people that have watched us grow from nothing, and was so. That was probably one of the scariest moments in my entire life. I was scared.
Which one?
3 years ago when I had to go live on our page after like 2 or 3 months and
oh god, yeah,
tell all of these people
what had happened.
Well, the issue with it was, and Todd will get this, anybody else that's ever done AA, NA, or worked any sort of program, when you take accountability as an addict, you can't even start to heal yourself until you take accountability for what you've done. And outside of my personal life, my public life, I had lied and done some different things that I shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
And I had to tell those people what I had done and that I was sorry, because they followed us for years, and anything we told them, they believed in us.
Yeah.
And taking accountability for stuff is very, very, very difficult.
It's not fun.
No, it's not. It hurts. Like, I don't
like, and anybody that says that is fun, no,
they're full of shit, bro. They ain't took accountability for
like it feels good on a spiritual sense of there is a relief or weight, but on a human,
on an ego sense, like we all have
any
an
other
ego.
sense,
like it's there. Everybody's got one. Like you have one, but and it's no fun.
It's not.
It sucks.
It's not.
And what sucks even more is trying to teach your kids accountability. That shit's rough too.
Oh, we're going through that right now.
It's rough.
It'd be rough in the squirts.
Yes, y'all do. Parenthood is a rough one.
When they say you pay for your raising, they were lying because they downplayed that shit so bad.
Yeah, mine didn't get downplayed. They told me.
No, mine got downplayed. If you just wait, it's going to be twice as bad. No, it's 10 times.
It is not.
10 times. No, it's not. It's really not.
No.
But it's been fun. But all right, it is bottom of the hour. We need to 9:30 our time, so we need to take our last and final break. This is Twisted Ascensions. Don't go anywhere, because we'll be right back after these short messages. Welcome back to the show, y'all. This is Twisted Ascensions with your hosts, Caden and Allisa. The hot mess expresses themselves.
Facts.
This is our goodbye for a little bit, not forever, just for a little bit. My health has went down. It's just something that we have to do for a while. So, but we're going to try to continue the show as best as we can. We'll be on our page, Southern Ascension. We will still be popping in. Hopefully, Todd will have us a couple of times on Haunted Voices still. And then once all of my stuff gets situated, we'll be right back on the network as soon as possible. But until then, please go to Southern Ascension. Give us a follow. You can keep up with our investigations. You can keep up with our shenanigans. You can keep up with our weird and crazy, wacky life on there.
Yeah.
That's for sure. We and Todd were talking before the show about how this is the year of a great reset. Mm-hmm. And it really is. And it seems like every year. Go ahead.
It ends. I mean, I'm sure everybody has seen it now, but I think I talked to you about it 2 or 3 months ago about the year ending in 123-123.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about that.
That is 123-123.
And then if you look, there's a lot of correlations, which I don't necessarily believe in the angel number thing, but I've studied it a lot. And so
numerology in general.
Yes. So like the numbers from COVID to last year to now, like it's wild what all the numbers link up to be. And if you are bored and looking for something to do and you do believe in those things, write the years down that COVID started all the way up to 2023, and then do your numerology. And it's wild. It's actually exciting to me, but we shall see. We shall see.
Mm-hmm. And it has been a year.
It sure has
already.
And we're only like 3 months in? 3 months in?
Mm-hmm.
3 months in? 4.
Yeah.
We're in 4. We're in the year month.
But it has been we say it every year, that this is going to be a year of different things. And really and truthfully, it doesn't seem like it's a lot. It's a lot of minor things in our world. This year, we started out first thing podcast. paranormal location that we are running, events that we're a part of. And a lot of that quickly, guides, ancestors, the universe had other plans. Reverb. The universe had different plans, and I don't know if it's one of those where it's not necessarily things needed to come to an end, but the way that we were doing them, we needed to pay more attention to. So that's kind of what we're having to do right now, is relearning how to deal with things on a healthier way, not jumping into things unprepared, because we learned that with last year's ghost hunts that we need to be better prepared.
Yeah.
And this year we're kind of being forced to slow down. And for me personally, it's looking into my own inner circle and seeing what is best for me. And we have already cut out quite a few extracurricular activities that were just bogging us down and didn't mean us any good, you know? And like, they were hard to let go at the beginning of the year. They were hard, don't get me wrong. Like, it seemed like it was easy, but then you're like, oh, I kind of miss it. But it made me feel this amount of way, and it's been rough. And then the health stuff happened, and it's making me look at other stuff that I really enjoy and absolutely love. And I'm like, mad, like, why? Why am I having to step away? Like, why is this happening to where it's forcing me to step away from these things? I don't know why. I'm hoping that it unveils itself soon. But, you know, it is the year of reset.
Yeah.
For sure.
There's so many things it could be, which I'm weird. So, like, if it was me, like, if I was you, I would have done started a mental list in my brain of, like, what is this supposed to be teaching me? What am I missing?
I really need to, but even, like, I'm supposed to be keeping a sheet for my heart monitor on any time that I feel something happening.
And you're not.
I keep forgetting. Like, I'm like, I look at my time, like, oh, so-and-so time, I need to write that down.
You sent yourself a message last night or something.
I did send myself a message last night. But I still forgot to write it down. But there's different things that are happening, and when I tell you that people are testing my patience, they're testing my patience. And that's something that I've always struggled with.
But do you ever actually look to see why your patience is so limited? Like, what's causing you to have that real
fuse?
thin? Yeah.
That short fuse?
Yeah.
I've looked into it before, and I will be completely honest with it. That shadow work, I did not even touch the surface with it.
But why? Are you afraid to do it?
It's when I started doing it, it was the second hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Yeah. The second hardest thing. And when
you just turned around and was like, nope, not today.
It was one of those where I knew that needed to be done, but I did not have a safe place to do it. What I mean by a safe place, like not you not being safe or not here not being safe, mentally being safe to allow myself to feel those things and be in control of those feelings.
But like, we've had this conversation, but this is just okay. So for y'all, it's for y'all. So what if someone said, but Caden, that's what we do to ourselves to run. We tell ourselves that we have a reason not to do it because we're not prepared to do it, and that's going to ultimately be your demise, is because it's just like an alcoholic saying, I can socially drink. And they do socially drink for a good while. And then that one night's all it took, and they're right back into what they were at. But they would have never fell into that had they not started the social drinking too. You get what I'm saying?
I'm very hypocritical by saying it, because with our clients, I tell them, like, you have to do the shadow work. It's going to suck. I mean, we just talked about how bad it sucks. And it is hypocritical. And just like I tell people, you know your own body, you know your own spirit better than anybody else in this entire world.
Right.
You know yourself. And for me, what's going to take me to do that part of shadow working is And now that you made me think about it, it's kind of what's happening right now.
Yeah.
I am forced to not do anything else. Like, I can't go outside to work. I can't let my heart rate elevate too high. I can't walk up and down stairs and go to these places because financially we can't travel a lot. Health wise, I can't do a lot of stuff. So I'm forced to just sit in my own shit and deal with it.
What do you think about that so far? Honestly, like, not as your wife, just as somebody asking you that question. What do you really think about it so far?
About what not being
like having to sit in your shit, bro. Sit in a messy mess.
I like it and I hate it.
Like, as somebody who's actively having to do it.
I hate it in the sense of I feel worthless. And that's also part of my shadow work because growing up,
you felt like you had to prove your worth.
I had to prove my worth.
Yeah.
Had to prove my worth. Yeah. I had to
earn your keep.
Had to earn the words I love you. I had to earn the words I'm proud of you. And it seemed like nothing was ever good enough. And that has spilled over to my own parenthood, to our son. Me and you have had many arguments and conversations about that. I'm spewing my childhood into him because I still ain't dealt with my shit. And I got to deal with my shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, now that
it's gonna be hard, but like I said, me being forced to slow down and everything's coming to an end. The podcast is having to go down for a while. Our haunted location is up in limbo. That's out of our control.
Yeah,
it's the town's control for the moment. Everything's in limbo, and we had already made a lot of our extracurricular activities when it came to hobbies. I have nothing but to sit and deal with it, and it's scary. I don't get scared, but it's scary because I know the last times I've tried to do it, how it made me feel. And it's not good.
Right.
It's not healthy for other people to be around me while going through it.
Right.
And it's because it's the closest I can get to it is when you're an addict and you're going through detox, you are the most hateful individual in the entire universe.
I don't think I was too hateful.
You weren't, but I'm just saying in general,
yeah.
You could be as sweet as pie, but that same person that's sweet as pie go through detox, they are horrible.
Like, anybody didn't know them think they was possessed.
Yes. And that's kind of what it's like for me to do this particular shadow work is I'm having to detox childhood trauma, childhood impressions, specific situations that imprinted on me. I'm having to detox them all, and it's not fun because it's also losing a part of myself,
identity
identity that I've had. I'm 31,
right?
Identity I've had for 31 years,
right?
I'm losing a side of myself, and that part's scary because I'm like, who am I going to be after
without
that?
it?
Am I going to be somebody that I like?
Ooh. We just talked about a trauma bond with our own fucking trauma.
Yeah, that's real.
Damn. Look out.
Trauma bonds, dude.
With your own trauma. Like, I don't think I've ever heard anybody talk about it, though. It's real.
We don't have time to continue on this. We may just need to lap this over. Write that down.
Okay.
Write that down. But yes,
gives you all a reason to come back.
Come on back to... Come over to Southern City because that's a big one. But yes, I have a trauma bond with my trauma.
Yep.
And it's a very painful, it's a very hurtful thing. And I'm being a dad, being a husband, makes it a little bit harder for me to go through it because with my trauma, I get not just vengeful, I am rage. Like... It's not what is it, flex? It's not a flex.
No,
it's not a flex saying that I'm like the Hulk. No, like that's horrible. I hate it.
It's toxic. However, you have to remember that in order for anything toxic to come out, it has to be spilled. I mean, it has to come out. So it's not pretty. And as your significant other, it sucks. For so many different reasons, because you love somebody and they're hurting, you can't do it for them no matter what you want to do, and watching somebody that you love sitting there shit is rough.
But see, the difference is with this rage, and this is why it scares me more, is because used to I would try to do it and I would go through rage, and I could go outside and get that rage out.
Right.
Chop a tree down or take a sledgehammer to
and physically
get it out. Now I can't. I have to deal with it mentally instead of physically, and it's like,
it's your reset, my dude. It's a reset.
It's like it's the big shiny red button that they tell you not to touch.
And you're like,
and I touched it, and there's no takesy backsies. No takesy backsies. No takesy backsies.
I know it's rough. Every year seems like for me, it's a new thing in each year, and this year has proven to be very, very difficult. But I am finally like, oof, we're going up, like we're not down here anymore. But it took me a year and a half to get there. So, I mean,
our story's not over. Our time's not over. Our presence on this network is not over.
No.
We're just got to take a hiatus.
Yes.
Like I said, we're going to talk to Todd right after this just to kind of verify a couple of small things. But, just give us a little bit of time.
But thank you for allowing us into your Friday afternoons for the past couple of months. It has been awesome. I've loved it. I love that you guys listen.
I love meeting all you new folks and gaining some new friendships with people. It has been awesome. We will be back. Like I said, if you just want to keep up with us, though, jump on over to Southern Ascension. We have a lot of investigations coming up. We actually have one tomorrow. And then next month, we start with the tour season. So we'll be live on some of those as well. But anywho, are you ready to call it a night?
I guess.
We're going to call it a night, folks. It has been a blessing. We love you all.
Love and light.
Love and light. May God bless you. May the gods be with you. And stay tuned after our show because you have Haunted Voices next with Mr. Todd himself and Nicole. It's going to be a great show. Thank you all so much. This has been Twisted Ascensions. Have a great night.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.